for a championship.
Sir.
Today, Coach, if you'll just start by introducing each one of your athletes for us.
Yeah, here I have Kelvin Pereira. He's one of our leaders. He's committed to Ole Miss. I have Kevin Roca here. He's a winning pitcher for today, going to Nova Southeastern. And here I have Roydon Perez, which is one of our other captains. He's going to St. John's Community College.
Coach, if you'd like to make a statement about the game, you can.
You know, it was great coming out here. We knew it was going to be a tough opponent, hometown crowd. You know, I'm happy for the boys. They came out here. They weren't overwhelmed. And you know, Kevin did a great job as he's done all year. He's pitched really well. And today, you know, the conditions, it was really hot, but he battled through, and he had some rough innings there, but he battled through them, and he did what he did.
David, can you talk about, you know, I remember that game, that day against Downtown Doral where you were 0-0 in the fifth inning, and I'm thinking, if you told me that day you'd be in the state championship game, I would have lost my shirt in Vegas. We discussed how you somehow the bats have really just flown out of the dugout since then. You talked about, I mean, you fundamentally did something to try and
we just, you know,
get them to
continue
level
to work
off their hitting.
And
I mean, how do you get a team to hit better so quickly? Is my question.
That's these guys here. You know, they just bought in. We just did some different things in practice, as I told you before, and it's kind of panned out. You know, we've made more contact. We've driven some more baseballs. We didn't have a lot of extra base hits leading up into the postseason, but I guess they've come at the right time.
Kelvin, can you speak to that a little bit? From the bats coming around so quickly, so fast.
Yeah, we just, you know, trusted our work. You know, hitting something that goes up and down. You know, our pitching gave us a lot of confidence. You know, guys came up and threw strikes. You know, they threw up zeros, so it gives the hitters confidence. You know, knowing that you can still go out there and compete. You know, that game, I think the first game against Pace, that's kind of where just everybody took off. You know, first game, that's when everybody started hitting. So I knew we got hot at the right time. So.
And I guess it's kind of cool because it's almost infectious, no? I mean, all of a sudden,
everything,
everybody wants to get up to the plate all of a sudden. So, again, I guess, Kelvin, you could just talk about, I mean, this is, everybody's not stunned that you won today, but the way that you did it and just mercy rolling a team that's 32-2. Could you have ever imagined beating this team the way you did today, like this?
Not really, you know, you don't go into games trying to knock teams out. You just go in and try to compete. You know, Rock came out, set the tone, 1, 2, 3 inning, and then, you know, the hitters just had some competitive at-bats, you know, had some good walks, hit by pitches, a couple timely hits, and then we had that big inning, and, like, I think it was the 6th, where it kind of just blew the game away.
Coach, or the guys, we're also talking about it, that play that your middle infield made.
Oh, you can talk about it. He's right here.
Yeah, that's why you got called in there.
Whoever wants to talk about that, the timing that it had to be to get that done.
We're then talked about that play right there. It was a big moment.
It was at the right spot, and I was able to make the catch, and thankfully my second baseman was there to catch it.
He was a big part of it.
But getting up to get the flip to him, like really.
I really just tried to throw it to the bag, but he was there. Honestly, without him, I wouldn't have made the play.
That would have been a momentum shifter in the game.
No, that's a tie game.
It was 2-0 in time, and you know, if the ball ricochets off his glove, that's 2 runs there.
Well, it's a tie game. And
you got a tie game. You got the crowd with them, and anything could happen here. You know, and they've got plenty of experience. They're a good team. You know, you said it. They're 30-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a good team. This is their hometown. You know, their school's only a few miles away from here, so you know, anything can happen.
Rock, talk to me about out there today, getting settled in, and you get. I mean, were you? I mean, was there nerves? I mean, it's your first time pitching at state. You go out there and you look like you found a pretty nice groove pretty early on.
Well, yeah, you know, coming out here, you know, you step on the mound, you just look around, you see everybody like cheering on you. You do get a little nervous, you know, that's normal. But once I that 1, 2, 3 inning, you know, that really hyped me up. I was so excited. I see these kids hitting. It's amazing. Like the amount of confidence you come out there, you have to be there to feel it.
And getting the 2 runs early probably helped. And then you got an early lead, so you got a little something to play with.
I was more relaxed at that point. There was no nerves, just excitement.
Coach, how many days, I mean, obviously there's a long layoff between the regional final and today. How much time did you think you were going to see Lawson, and were you surprised when you didn't see him as a starting pitcher?
I honestly, one of the other pitchers, when we were hanging out by the tunnel, he asked me if Lawson was hurt or if he was playing. I thought he was, and then, you know, when the pitchers and the catcher and the coaches walk under the tunnel, I didn't see him out there. I was a little shocked. So I don't know if it was a strategy, or, you know, maybe he wasn't available to throw. I'm not too sure, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, the guy that threw, we faced him early in preseason as well, and he's just as good, you know.
Yeah. What was it kind of like facing them then, and then obviously seeing them now?
It's like I talked to Casey and I sent him a text when we figured out that we were going to play each other. Ironically, we played each other in preseason.
Same starters.
We know that they have a good team and they have a nice place. We wanted to kind of get away a little bit in preseason, and then after we were done, we saw they had a good team, and we looked them up on Max Preps, and we figured out that they were 3-8. So it was just ironic how we ended up playing them. Yeah. We're finishing off our season where it kind of started, and I don't know, just
David,
irony of the world.
37 years between state championships for this school in any sport. So talk to me just about the opportunity that's in front of you tomorrow to make history for the school.
Well, we did. We came back, like, I sat in this room 6 years ago and always said that we'd be back, and the goal this year was to win one game. This baseball team had never won one game in the state tournament. We won that one game, and now we're here playing for a state championship. So it's great. At the end of the day, I just hope the kids embrace it, and it's good that they know a little bit about the history and they can make history, as they have been all year. This is I believe one of the better teams I've coached, and I'm sure with all the accomplishments and the accolades that the players and the team have had throughout the year, I'm sure it's one of the better teams in the history of the school.
David, talk a little bit about you were up here in 2019. Was there any different preparation coming up this time from the last time you were up here?
Yeah, there's a little bit different. Going back, that was one of the things that I did when we clinched to come up here. I wanted to go back in the game in 2019 and see what I would have done differently. As if I've came out here with Brito in 2013 and 2014 and 15, but the game changes and every team's not the same. So I went back and there were some things that I did differently, and if the game would have been a little tighter, I would have done differently than I did in 2019. Absolutely.
Your thoughts on South Walton, what you've seen?
Don't know anything about him yet. Like Bill can attest to that. I go 1 week at a time, and I couldn't tell you a single person on the roster right now. So we'll get back. We'll get back to the hotel today, and we'll watch the game and do our homework. And at the end of the day, it's just us and them for a state championship.
Any other questions? Guys, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. Congratulations. Go celebrate with your team.
Selfie with the champ. Where's Perez?
Right here, KB.